All right, guys, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the five most awesomest coins, error coins that is, that sold during the Stax Bowers Baltimore Spring Show. That's part of their Whitman coin show that happened this past week. And I gotta say, man, we have some pretty ridiculous coins on this list, and I'm happy to just be in the same room with these images on screen to talk about it. I threw in a little bit of a mellow music. You could just barely hear it. And I feel like that's going to capture the mood of what we're going to be talking about here. So let's get started with this absolute whack job of a list. You guys are going to enjoy what you're going to see. Of course, they can't all be expensive errors, okay? But a few of the cheap ones that did sell, I cannot freaking believe that they only went for this amount of money. All right, the first one here is this 1988. Ridiculous. Did I mention that already? Count the amount of ridiculous I say in this video. I think that's number 3. But this is a 1988 Jefferson nickel with quite possibly the most wicked broad strike I've ever seen. At first, I didn't think it was a broad strike coin because it had the look of something of a capped die. However, it does have a fully struck reverse, which kind of throws that out the window. But this thing is absolutely freaking nuts. Okay, it was only graded with Annex at a Mint State 63. I think that's the less important part about this whole thing. But this is an exceptional example of a just kind of like over-the-top broad strike. I would imagine that the coin is extra thin. It looks like a candy dish. You could serve up a bowl of cereal in this thing. It's that deep looking. So I kind of wish I jumped on this. I had seen it the day before the actual auction ended, and I was like, man, that's really cool. But I have a feeling that this thing's gonna hit like $500, $600, $700. Well, do I feel like the Hardy Fool? And this one sold for only $105. Wow. Yeah, I made a mistake. I'm sure a few other people wish they would have jumped on this auction at only $105. This is about as radical of a broad strike that you could get. Broad strikes in nature aren't worth a ton of money compared to full brockage, mirrored brockages, off-center coins. So this coin right here, I felt like it was tremendously undervalued by a few $100s at least. But boy, what a coin. Not to be outdone by the fourth coin on the list. Of course, this is a no-date Mercury dime. Now, this one right here, I love this one just as well. You can barely catch a little snippet of the date on there. It looks like it's a 1930s coin. You guys be the judge. This one is an S Mint, so it's a San Francisco coin. This one is 20% off center, okay? 20% off center. This is a really nice coin, with or without the date. I know if it had like a full date on there, this wouldn't have sold for what it did, and I'll get to that here in a moment. This one was a Pcgs Ef 45. And again, another exceptional coin that I felt like sold for way too less of a dollar at the end of the day. This one only brought home $156. Now you guys are probably going to ask me anyways, so how much are we talking about for an example with a full date on there? Well, that would probably double, might even triple the amount of money this coin would have brought in if it had a full date. So there you go. Pretty remarkable coin. And again, this is one of those I wish I would have jumped on given the opportunity. So the number 3 coin on the list I felt like was a little bit less impressive, but not to take away from the actual overall error of the coin. It's a 1999 P New Jersey State Quarter. This one was in fact struck on a nickel planchet. Okay, so the size of a nickel is what this one was struck on. Tremendously undersized, obviously, as you can see. And believe it or not, these have come up in coin rolls on a few occasions. They're still rare, let's be honest. And, the grade is, at this point, immaterial. As a matter of fact, on all of these, coins, the grade really doesn't mean a whole lot. Okay, maybe on the next coin, but this one not so much. This one is an Ngc Mint State 64, and this one shoots way up in price at $1,560. What I can tell you is that a number of these have come out into the marketplace, and that's why I feel a little bit less kind of impressed by this coin, because I've seen America the Beautifuls and other state quarters that that were struck on these off weird sized planchets, like nickels, dimes, things of that nature. But again, not to take away from the speciality of the coin and the error itself, this is a pretty nice coin. And if you guys are in the market with something with some staying power in terms of enhancing the value, this is a great example, especially in a depressed error market. This one has a lot of room to grow in the future. So coming up next at the number 2 coin, this is probably one of my favorites, and the little footnote that's added to this coin, in addition to like the big part of this error, is really gonna knock your socks off. So this is a 1969 Lincoln Cent. Okay, here's the kicker in this. This one is struck on a Canada 10 cents planchet. Now, how in the blue blazes does that happen? I'm smelling kind of like a intentional inside job, obviously, because where do you find a 10 cent Canada planchet anywhere? All right, I don't think any one of the U.S. mints ever produced any dimes in the 60s for Canada. I might be wrong. I'm not sure, but this just seems way too far-fetched. But the coin is incredible. It graded out Ngc Mint State 62. So as impressive as it is for this Lincoln penny to be struck on a 10 cent Canada blank, which has kind of like a different composition than a standard copper nickel US dime planchet, this one is also double struck. If you take a close look at the actual images, you'll see the double strike features of the coin. Okay, you'll see it on the obverse, you'll see it on the reverse. I feel like the memorial on the reverse really tells the tale in terms of how crazy the double strike is on this coin. This one is really impressive. Okay, now price-wise, it's sold for what I felt like fair money, even though I have my reservations on it actually being a legitimate error. But it's sold for $4,320. If anyone has a reasonable explanation as to why a Canada 10 cents planchet was in a hopper full of bronze planchet, blanks for Lincoln cents, please let me know. I would love to hear it. But so the number 1 coin trumps everything else on the list. This coin is bonkers, okay, at best. That says a lot. This thing is, impossible to even look at and comprehend because it's so nice. It's a 1959D Franklin half dollar. So get this, okay, it's double struck. So you have the primary strike, and then you have a secondary 55% off center strike on the same coin. This thing is crazy. You want to know what else is crazy? This one graded out Pcgs AU58. So what does that tell us? Well, Johnny, it has seen some circulation. It's not a mint state coin, so therefore somehow, some way, it's passed through a number of hands to get it to an about uncirculated, grade status. This thing is, if there was any one coin I wish I had in my collection, it would be this coin. Okay, anything that's what I consider the non-typical modern coin, and it would certainly be this. I would love to have this in my collection. Even more so than a Kennedy double struck. Kennedys are out there in droves, so it's less special to me. But a nice classic obsolete design with this error is absolutely the chef's kiss. So, anyways, that rounds up the top 5, what I perceive to be the top 5 error coins to sell at the Stacks Bowers Baltimore show. If you want to check out more of the other coins that they had sold, more realized prices, lots of eye candy. These guys do a great job spending, most of the year ramping up for the show. And it shows, no pun intended, because they have assembled quite the huge crop of absolutely stunning coins that one can only imagine and dream of, because I sure as heck can't afford any of this stuff. But anyways, stacksbowers.com. And follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And of course, the best way you can support your boy is to hit the like button. And don't forget to share, subscribe, and throw in a little comment. Tell me what you think about the insaneness of these 5 coins. A couple cheap ones that were absolutely ridiculous that I wish I would have. Yeah, I may hear about that for a few days. But anyways, take care. God bless. We're discovering together like usual, and I'll see you on the next one.